winter break to be out in San Francisco with Ethan Casson, who graduated from Colby-Sawyer in 1996. He's the Chief Operating Officer for the San Francisco 49er's professional football team. And so I'm going to let these students introduce themselves and tell you all about their experience.
Thanks for coming out today. I'm Nicole Taylor, I'm a junior, and I'm from Windham, New Hampshire.
And I'm Chris Hood, I'm a sophomore, and I'm from Manchester, New Hampshire. And we're here to tell you about our wonderful experience we had out in California, excuse me.
So just to tell you how we were able to have this opportunity, we were nominated by the ESS faculty and our professors, and then we submitted cover letters and our resumes, and it was chosen by the senior academic dean, the ESS faculty, and the Office of Advancement.
Now to get to the fun part. So, for those of you who don't know, the 49ers actually built a new stadium for 2015, and it was a multi-billion-dollar stadium. And the venue is just spectacular, breathtaking, you name it, very high-tech. And we're going to go a little bit into it, and it's just unreal. So, for those of you who don't know a little bit about the 49ers, they are one of the original NFL teams. They have a lasting legacy, and it's forever growing. They have five Super Bowl championships, some Hall of Fame players, 40 winning season. Some of their players are Steve Young, Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, just to name a few.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, thank you very much. And
Sorry, Chris.
no, I appreciate that. And actually, what's cool about this is these slides, some of our slides are from the actual 49ers organization. They use these slides to help promote their name and get a company interested in associating themselves with the company. And it just kind of gives them a sense of who they are and what they're really about. And it actually allows them to tie their name into a big organization. And so 49ers, as I mentioned, they are one of the top teams. They're actually the #1 team in California that is most viewed and most traveled to, because they are competing with the Raiders, and now they're going to be competing with the Los Angeles Rams, which I don't know how that's going to go out. But just to give you a little perspective, with the new venue, along with Candlestick, they have had 32 sold out consecutive seasons. Season ticket holders are in 56 countries, or counted, excuse me. And their TV ratings continue to soar because of the new venue that they have. It's just so high tech, and all of the fans are exhilarated whenever they go in there. And so, actually in 2015, they were nominated as the Sports Business Journal's Sport Facility of the Year. They hold almost 70,000 seats, and around the Super Bowl time, they added an additional 3,000 to make it 71,000 seats total throughout the stadium. And they offer different luxury suites and 9,000 club seats. And to give you a perspective, because they're a multi-billion-dollar venue, the reason they were able to pay for this is because 365 days a year, they have a specific event planned, whether it be a football game, whether it be a concert, a dinner, whatever, you name it. They are completely sold out every day, 365 days a year, and they're continuously moving. And so to give you a little bit of their outstanding features, they are LEED Gold certified, which means they are Gold certified in leadership and energy and environmental design, because their purpose is on sustainability and going green and making sure that the environment is sustainable for their athletes, their fans, and just the atmosphere around the stadium. To give you, their technology is so advanced that they have 3 solar panel bridges that actually power the stadium throughout the day, and that's all they need. They don't need any additional power sources, but they do have the green roof on top of the stadium, which is actually pretty cool. We actually got a chance to go up there and see that and watch a little bit of practice up there. And then they have over hundreds of solar panels throughout the stadium to kind of give them the extra power if they needed it, It's kind of a reserve system. And then they have this interactive 49ers museum, which is pretty cool. It gives you a sense of how they started, how they've grown, and where they're at today. And then they have a 5-star restaurant attached to the restaurant in Michael Mina's restaurant and pub. He's actually a world-renowned chef, and he actually greeted us while we were dining in, and it was unbelievable. Out in California, Maine lobster is a novelty, and we actually had the chance to have a little bit of lobster pot pie, and they made it tableside. It was just an unbelievable atmosphere. And so, once you go out of the stadium, there's this thing called Faithful Mile. It's where fans go to tailgate and kind of get their mind ready for the game. It's, the fans are really what make up this organization. Without the fans, they would be nothing. They have this word faithful because every fan is considered family. They treat everybody with respect, and it's just they treat everybody with all of these different amenities and sponsors and everything. Even the sponsors have their own strip after you go past the ticketing gate. It's actually pretty cool. There's like a broadcast booth where fans can interview players and all of these different venues that add an extra level of interest to the game, if you would. Along with that, we actually got a chance to understand how big tailgating is out in California. They actually have awards given out throughout the week and an overall year. So the biggest tailgate and the most, I don't know, I don't know how to put it, but the biggest tailgate wins. They have like a tiki bar. You wouldn't even imagine. It's crazy.
Trucks and bars and just everything.
Yeah, it's unreal. And just for one game, these people bring trailers full of. And this is just to give you the idea of the 56 counties that they serve, and along with the other areas that fans come from. But it is mainly located within the Bay Area, and as I said, they're going to be competing with the Oakland Raiders, but even though the Oakland Raiders aren't doing too hot, neither are the 49ers, so they need to find a way to get some sort of fan base going.
So to give you guys a little background on Ethan, he actually came to visit last spring and was able to talk to our major, if any of you were there for that. But he was an absolute terrific guy, really treated us like royalty. But he graduated in '96 as part of the New England Basketball Hall of Fame and also the Colby-Sawyer Basketball Hall of Fame, so he was pretty good. He secured one of the largest naming rights in history, so he actually had a part in naming Levi Stadium, which was a $220 million deal that goes on for 20 years. So one of the biggest in history. And he also helped to re-strategize their sponsorship sales. So he actually went for a less is more model. So he cut back on the amount of sponsorships that they would sell, but they sold them for more and gave the sponsorships more exclusivity. So pretty smart guy, and it was definitely a pleasure to hang out with him for a week. And so now we'll go into a little bit of our itinerary and what we actually did. So day one, we traveled to San Francisco, got into Santa Clara. The day two, we actually had a nice leisure day. We were able to go up to the Bay and see San Francisco. We actually surprisingly got into the Giants Stadium for their baseball team. So we actually kind of walked over there, and they were just having people walk in for free, which was pretty cool. So we got a full San Francisco sports team experience. Day three was game day, which was really exciting because we just got there and we were able to just jump right into it and shadow everyone. And we'll go into a little bit more of the game day later. Then day four, we had lunch with Ethan. We were able to take a tour of the the stadium, and we're actually able to go to a Warriors game, which was pretty cool. And Steph Curry's, a picture of him is down at the bottom. And we'll also go into some takeaways from our lunch with Ethan and some things that really stuck out to us and what we learned. And then the next 2 days, we just met with all sorts of different departments, and we'll go into each of those departments and kind of highlight our biggest takeaways from that. And then we got home, so it was a pretty packed week with a lot of exciting events. And so here are some pictures just from our trip. Chris was talking about our lobster pot pie earlier. But that was the Giant Stadium, our game at the Warriors. And then the middle, that's up in Pier 39. If any of you have been to San Francisco, it's a big tourist spot. And then on our next slide, we do have a video. We'll see if it works. We're not sure. It's actually a video of the kickoff. And we're actually able to stand down on the field with Ethan and watch the game go on and be around the cameras. It was a pretty surreal experience. Do you want to try to play it, or should we?
I think for the sake of time,
Okay.
we should just...
So to give you kind of what happened on game day, we arrived at 9 a.m. We met with Ethan and his team. We toured around with them, talked to some VIPs and some sweet guests, and were able to take them down to the field. Really get a glimpse of what each person does on game day, and it was really all hands-on experience. And everyone chipped in, everyone had a million different jobs, and just if something needed to be done, they instantly was just like, okay, let's go do it. We were able to stand on the field with Ethan, which was pretty surreal. We were able to stand in the media control room, which is actually where they dictate how all the sponsorships are put on each screen. And it's literally one guy just conducting all these different people, saying, okay, this is gonna go here in this amount of seconds. So it was pretty cool. And then we were able to actually sit at Michael Mina's tailgate, which people can purchase and go in there, and it's just stations, front stations of all you can eat food and just tailgating food and drinks and things like that. And then we were able to watch the game from some pretty nice club seats, which was pretty fun. And so our second day, we had lunch with Ethan. We were able to pick his brain for a while, and he gave us a tour of the stadium. So we were able to see the locker rooms, all the different types of clubs, the different levels, the different restaurants, just everything was pretty surreal, and we were able to walk through the museum also.
How many does it seat?
68,000.
Yeah, 68,500. Yeah. And so, as Nicole mentioned, we were able to sit down with Ethan for lunch, and we actually met in a corporate meeting room, which was a huge table and luxury chairs, and a view of the practice field is unreal. And then, but he really allowed us to kind of unload and pick his brain and kind of get a sense of what it is to work your way up from nothing into where he is now. And some of the things that he mentioned to us were kind of really relatable, and because where we're at now, we're starting to find that we're going to be going into the real world, and we're going to need to find what we really want to do. And if we don't love what we do, then what's the point? So we really wanted to hit it home and make sure we found out really what it takes to be within this industry. And so he basically told us to do as many internships as possible, gain as much experience from whatever it is you're doing, whether it be marketing, sales, ticketing, it doesn't even matter. You just want to get your foot in the door so you have that experience, so you can walk into an interview and say, hey, I have this experience, give me a chance and I can at least improve if I was to make a mistake. And that was another thing. Always be able to learn from your mistakes, because you're not going to be able to grow as a person if you don't. That was a huge one for me. He also mentioned that be open to any opportunity wherever the opportunity presents itself. And he's from Connecticut, and so when he was looking for a job, he contacted every single major team within the Big Four leagues, so the NHL, the NBA, MLB, all of these different leagues, and only one team called him. That was the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he literally jumped at the opportunity, sold everything, and moved out to Minnesota. And from that point on, he just kept climbing the ladder, and he said it was well worth his time, because if you do put boundaries on yourself, and it may be for you, maybe you want to stay local or whatever it may be, you also limit yourself to what you can possibly do down the line. So I thought that was also pretty cool to understand that, yeah, there's opportunities here, but depends on who's competing with you in this market, and depends on who else is out in the other parts of the world. So work hard and be noticed, that's a given. Make sure everyone knows who you are. At least don't be afraid of rejection, as it says. Don't be afraid of no here, because like I said, you'll be able to pick yourself up, learn from mistakes, and just kind of don't be naggy in a way, be persistent. Make sure you show interest in whatever you're trying to do. That way you let people know that you want to be within this industry and you're not going to give up and you're going to do whatever it takes. And a little quote from Ethan that says, it pays to know people. And with this experience, it definitely pays to know people, because we've actually remained in contact and we have that advantage over people as of late. So those are just a few of the takeaways that we had with him.
So the different departments we met with, marketing, special events, corporate sponsorship sales, stadium events, suite sales, community relations, and youth programs. I'll go into each of these and the people that we met with. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I'm not delaying. It's just it's computer.
So well, I can tell